Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we're going to talk about some polarizing players, some guys that, I don't know, people are kind of all over the board on. Some people have them ranked high, some don't want to touch these guys at all. We're going to bring up just some names here, just what we think. I think me and Jeff are going to have some, I don't know, probably going to differ already. I already know that on some of these guys. Before we get into that, though, just want to remind you guys about our listener leagues that we have signups ongoing for. So if you want to get in one of our listener leagues with a chance to win our custom Fantasy Football Prophet Championship belt, which Pro-Am Belts provided us, you just got to review the podcast on iTunes. Simple as that. If you've already done it in the past, just send us an email, a message on Twitter at the FF Prophet, on Instagram at Fantasy Football Prophet, letting us know where you left the review. Send us a screenshot, something like that. We'll enter you into the leagues, which we'll have starting up, beginning of August. We'll have those drafts going. So if you want a chance to win that belt, definitely hit the review and get it over to us. If you want a chance to take a look at the belt, go to our Instagram page. We got some pictures up on there. You can see what you could possibly win. All right, so let's just get into the list. Let's talk about some of the guys that made our list for the polarizing players of 2018. How about, let's get started off with Jerick McKinnon, because this is a guy that some people love him. I mean, some people really think he's going to become Devontae Freeman from a couple years in the Kyle Shanahan offense there in San Francisco, and other people just can't buy into Jerick McKinnon because we've seen it for too much. And even though he flashed some signs last year that he could be good, at the end of the day, he still got overtaken completely by Latavius Murray, I would say. And they never really gave him the full role. So right now, McKinnon, current consensus rank puts him at 14th, which he's as high as 8 on some people's boards. He's as low as 25th. So obviously he's a little better PPR-wise. I can't buy into it myself. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff? I can't. I something about it that I can't. I'm not buying in as much as maybe I should.
No, I mean, me either. He shows up near the end of my kind of like number one back list. I guess this is as simple as I can put it. I've seen him play for multiple years now, and never have I thought, man, that guy is going to be something. I think he's a fine backup. And I think because he's kind of the only show in town, he will put up numbers and, he will catch a few out of the backfield. And I think he'll be fine. But I feel like there's a whole group of people out there that are hyping him up to be the next big thing, if you will. And I just don't see it. Also, I don't really think that 49ers are going to be some prolific offense. So why would I think that he can get in the end zone a ton?
I think they've been a little overhyped. So.
The whole deal, especially him and Garoppolo.
Yeah, I think those two. So, okay, he's at 14th. That puts him right now ahead of McCaffrey, Mixon, Drake, Collins, Henry, Ajayi. I mean, I get it. It's not crazy of a spot. It also, I like a couple guys below. I like Ajayi more, actually. I think I'd take Christian McCaffrey. So,
I think I would take Mixon and McCaffrey.
And I'd probably go Mixon too.
Yeah. After that,
I don't like Ajayi as much, I know.
Yeah. But I think only because McKinnon has a, straight shot to more touches and opportunity.
And so, okay, player like him, I'm staying away from. It's polarizing, but he's higher than I think I would want him, even when at the end of the day. So I'm going to stay away. I just can't see myself picking him. So how about, I got another Ajayi. I didn't put him on our list I was going to talk about, but he is kind of polarizing. There are experts that have him as high as 14th and as low as 36th. I will say, I am that expert that has him at 14th. I am the only one. I am the highest person on Ajayi.
I think that's too, you know me. I think that's too high for him.
But he is as low as 36.
I think that is too, obviously, that's too low, obviously.
Man, I'm just looking at that. I'm really out on a limb there, ranking Ajayi literally higher than 100 experts.
To, be fair to you, they have put out a couple statements leading you to believe that they are going to use him more as a primary back than, anyone got a shot of last year, which is very intriguing, especially with how well he did, metric-wise last year. He had a huge, yard per carry. He looked really good. He looked the part. They got rid of Blunt. So there are a lot of things trending up for him.
I'll probably have him on most all my teams.
You probably will. Yeah, you definitely will because you're going to be picking him before anyone else will even start thinking about him.
He's 38th on somebody's board. On Mike Wright from Fantasy Footballers has him 38th. Bobby Sylvester from Fantasy Pros has him 36. So they're really down on him. I'm not. I like him. I'm gonna be drafting him a lot. I just like JJ.
Yeah, I think he will go for good value in a lot of leagues, but I'll probably miss out on him. But it's not that I'm going out of my way to stay clear of him. But I think 14th is just way too high. I think I would be missing out on guys that are going to have more production.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I love JJ, so I'm going to stick with him.
I feel you.
All right, how about another running back? Another one around that same JJ level, Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry is currently ranked 19th, which is one spot ahead of JJ. But he's as high as 9th on some people's boards, and then as low as 31st. Again, I think you're a bigger Henry fan than I am. I guess maybe the Dion Lewis thing is just clouding our judgment too much. As the more I think about it, he would have been a top 10 guy for people before Dion Lewis signed.
Without Dion Lewis, yeah.
He would have been. And maybe Dion Lewis doesn't matter as much as we think. It's hard to say. But, actually he's as low as 35th in the ranks. That's a little much. I, myself, have put him at 18th. So, I'm right in that middle.
Yeah, I think that's relatively fair.
So, what do you think? What do you think about Derrick Henry? It's with the Dion Lewis thing. Just makes it...
I get it. Dion Lewis is a very good running back. I don't think they're the same player, though.
They really are.
And this is what Derrick Henry will get the first crack on first and second downs. He will get the best shot around the goal line. And Mariota has not proven to me that he is going to be able to pass the ball effectively enough where they're going to be able to kind of get away from the run. I think the run will be a huge part of this offense. And Derrick Henry is an absolute beast. He's still insanely young. He's 6'3", 250 pounds almost. This guy is a wrecking ball. And last year, at the end, you saw what he can do. I think Dion Lewis being there, yes, does hurt his value. But I also think it will help allow people like me to get Derrick Henry on a team because he's actually going to go for a value I can kind of wrap my head around compared to drafting him in the top 10, which, with Dion Lewis, I don't think there's any way he should be in that. He shouldn't crack that top 12 probably.
I'm kind of coming around on it a little bit more. I am. Is Dion Lewis really going to take that much away? Is he really?
Yeah, I think both will be valuable to have.
I think I'm starting to come around a little bit more on Derrick Henry. I'm leaning more towards... Right now, he's ranked below Alex Collins and Kenyon Drake. I have him ahead of Collins. I might not have him ahead of Drake yet, but I'm starting to lean that way, where I think I maybe should. And he's below Mixon. Think about that, actually, in a way. Mixon has proven less than Derrick Henry has.
It's so true. Well, I think both of us put Mixon above.
I did too. I know I did. But when you really just look at the guy, you really look at the situation. Maybe we're wrong on that.
Yeah, and it really is because Dion Lewis got so much hype. Because we also saw it is so dangerous to see a running back or a player in general come from New England, go to another team, and just assume that they're going to have the same kind of effectiveness. They use players differently than most NFL teams. It could be the same exact thing here. I don't think so. I think Dion Lewis is the real deal. I think he can be a very good third down back, catching it. But Derrick Henry I feel like he is going to be the number one guy, the bruiser. He will get the touchdowns. I think Derrick Henry will be very good to have.
I'm leaning, especially where he's going. That is great value. I'll say that. I think that is great value where he's going. I really do. I think the value is pretty good. So yeah, I'm leaning more and more towards Henry's a good pick. All right, I'm just going to bring up another guy who, some reason people are kind of not in love with as much, is Kareem Hunt. So he's not maybe as polarizing as some, because everyone still has him as typically as a top 10 running back. But he is, he's as high as 4th in some people's boards, which to me, that just means he's ahead of one of the big 4 for me, which I don't agree with. But I could see him as 5, and I would be perfectly fine with anybody putting him at number 5. But for the people that actually have him as low as 14 and down there, I mean, why?
Yeah, I don't agree either.
Because that's putting him on a level, I mean, quite a way down there, right? Is it Spencer Ware? I've heard the name a few times about, well, Spencer Ware's coming back, so, you know, he's going to fall. I don't agree with that. I don't know. What are you thinking? Because I don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly where I had him. I think like number 7 or something.
Right, and I think that's about where I have him, yeah.
And okay, Kareem Hunt, you know, Ware went down, okay, so he was the only guy in town, and he had that stretch in the middle where he kind of disappeared. So I can understand, but he came back extremely strong. And maybe I'm wondering if the big thing is also the changeover to Mahomes. But I think you and me are both in agreement that probably should not change Hunt's value. Yeah, I think, if anything, they should rely on Hunt even more, especially in the beginning of the season. Yeah. I don't think his rushing, his touches will go down significantly. He averaged 4.9 yards a carry. I mean, had how many did he have? 11 total touchdowns. I mean, the guy played, just unbelievably well. And yes, he did have a long stretch where he just wasn't as dominant as, you know, he bookended. But once again, I think people are looking for a reason to downgrade this guy. Where, yeah, I don't think he's going to finish whatever he finished, second or third last year. But he should definitely be in top 10. I think it's crazy to think he would fall out.
Should no doubt be top 10. I'll say one of the people that had him at 13th put Jerick McKinnon ahead of him and Christian McCaffrey ahead of him.
Yeah, no.
Right? No. I mean...
Yeah. And both of those players are going to be fine to have, but I think that is... I can't think of a world where you gave me the option of those three and I didn't immediately blurt out Hunt.
Right? I think that if he's going at the end of first round, I think that's a great pick. If he falls to the second in some drafts, geez.
I mean, what do you think the big reason people downgrade him is?
I think a lot of it is that mid-season slump he had. Okay,
so you do agree. I wasn't sure if you were going to say where is actually...
No, I don't think
on people's minds.
No, I feel like it might be more of the fact that it was that mid-season slump and combined with where is going to be back. But he turned it around from that mid-season slump.
He did. I mean, he made me a believer again.
He did. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of... I think he's going to be fine. I don't see any reason he won't be. So, all right, how about wide receiver here? Amari Cooper. I want to bring up Amari Cooper because he is definitely one of the ones that is just the most all over the board. He's as high as 10th, actually as high as 9th, and as low as 39th.
Wow.
But as high as 9th.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
Are we talking about wide receiver?
Yeah.
Okay.
9th wide receiver?
That
talent-wise, I can see it. Right?
I mean, he shouldn't definitely not crack the top 10. I get where, at least I can understand the thinking. They did hype him up. He is going to be the number one. You have Gruden. You still have Derek Carr. He really had a terrible year. You're thinking that can't possibly happen again. Yeah, I feel like I'm making a point against him now after I said all those things out loud. But yeah, there's no way he should be that high. I think he's going to be a guy that you draft and you just really, really hope, because he could pay very high dividends. So I totally understand. That is, if you got him, this is, okay, as easy as to put it. If you draft him there, you are drafting him at his highest potential. Pretty much that's what you're doing. Yep. You're taking a giant risk.
Yep.
And that's why I would never draft him that high.
And I'm not even sure that the Raiders team is going to be that great. I don't really know what John Gruden can do. He's been out of the league for so long. He might, I don't know. I'm not sold on the team itself. So, I mean, I would like Amari Cooper as my number 2 receiver. I think that's a fine pick.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be picking him over, that's why I put him at about 16th. Because I can get him ahead of these other guys, but I don't want him over Diggs or Hilton or Thielen or Tyreek Hill or Doug Baldwin. I don't want him ahead of those guys. Those guys are just they're just safer.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper does have a little better upside, but last year was so bad.
It was so bad.
It was really brutal, where it's just hard to forget, I would say. It's just really hard to forget last year.
Yeah. And really, I mean, you are banking on his ability so much, because first year he comes in, shows a lot. He ends up 25th ranked wide receiver. The next year makes a big jump up, ends 12th, and everyone loses their minds. They think he's the next big thing. and then has his worst year by far, ends 31st. And he could have easily, without one game, he would be much lower than that. He had one big game.
Yeah. So, yep, I'm just going to stay away. I'll say that. I'm probably going to stay away. Unless he has to fall to me. He has to fall to a certain spot. I can't take the risk. I know he could, if you take him and it works out, great. You might have a huge benefit, but I don't like the risk. I just don't like it. So I'm going to stay away. But how about T.Y. Hilton? Another guy who's a little bit, polarizing, I would say. And a lot of it just has to do with Andrew Luck. Because if Andrew Luck plays, I think people are going to like him a lot more. He's as high as 7th on some draft boards, as low as 26th. So I currently have him at number 12, actually. That's where I'm putting T.Y. Hilton. But what I'll tell you, just bring up Andrew Luck in this in talking about T.Y. Hilton. I think I bought into Andrew Luck. I think he's going to be fine. And I think his draft rank is going to skyrocket. And I think T.Y. Hilton should be really good because of it. So I'm all aboard this. I'm on the T.Y. Hilton hype. He shouldn't be ranked in the 20s. I think he's going to be pretty solid. I'm all in for this. I actually put Luck up to my 8th ranked quarterback right now. He's already at number 8 for me. And so T.Y. Hilton is 12. He might even move up to 11. I don't know. What are you thinking about T.Y.?
Yeah, I mean, I really like T.Y. Hilton. I think that obviously I wouldn't take him at 7th. But I think this one is closer. At least I understand that feeling, because really we've seen him be in the top 10 twice, right? In the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. Obviously, last year you almost doesn't even count. The fact that T.Y. Hilton with Brissett at behind center, clawed his way up to number 24, that is phenomenal on its own. So I think that one I understand much more if you were going to draft him higher than, closer to the top end than the lower end. I like T.Y. Hilton a lot, and I am starting to kind of buy into Luck being back, healthy. As he throws more, the higher T.Y. grows on my list. Yep. I still don't think he'll probably hit top 10. 7 seems aggressive, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I at least I understand the thinking behind that.
All right, how about the guy, we honestly haven't talked about him very much, but we probably should. Josh Gordon. He is as high as 10th in people's ranks, as low as 47th.
Okay, I guess this is, are you on the high end or low end?
I have him ranked 23rd, which is 3 spots below his 20th rank, which I feel like I might be low.
Okay.
I'm starting to like him a little bit.
I was going to say, I don't know what it is, but I'm buying into it.
Me too. Recently I've been having that. I haven't updated these ranks in a week or two. I'm starting to think I'm going to have him up there a little bit more. And
I'm worried that I'm even falling in love with the Browns a little bit, because I really like the moves they made, and I'm starting to really I like Tyrod.
I'm looking at him where he's ranked at 20th. He's 1 spot below Demaryius Thomas, and I think I want him over Demaryius Thomas all day.
I would, yeah.
Right? I think so too. I don't know. There's something about Josh Gordon that, he's as low as 47th, though. That's a little much.
Yeah.
He showed signs last year that he can be good.
Yeah, and it's really all about him staying out of trouble, and it sounds like, as far as you hear, it sounds like he is doing just that. And I'm very risk adverse when it comes to those guys. We talked about Martavius Bryant already.
Yeah.
And those kind of guys do scare me. But for some reason, I feel like Gordon got his stuff together, and he is just such a freak athlete that he is worth the risk.
Mm-hmm. I think so, too.
With Landry there and a few of those other weapons that we've talked about ad nauseum, you can't just double team him every single time. They will be able to pick you apart. He's going to be the deep threat. It's very hard to see anything but upside with this guy.
I completely agree. All right, how about a tight end here? Let's talk about Jimmy Graham. Because Jimmy Graham, he is ranked as high as 2nd on some ranks. He is as low as 15th.
Really?
Yeah.
15th?
Yeah.
I thought he was only going to get overhyped.
No, he's
15th. Yeah. How in the world?
It doesn't make sense, right?
No.
I have him at 5th, which is where he is currently. I actually put him up a couple spots from where I had him. But, okay. 50, that's crazy to me.
That's way too low.
I don't see any way possible Jimmy Graham is not in the top 7. I think that's the lowest you could possibly put him. And that would mean, even if you put him at 7, that would probably mean you put Delaney Walker over him, which I'm not doing. So I don't see how he gets lower than 6th. Because right now his 6 is Evan Ingram. Put Evan Ingram over him. You would do that. How does Graham get any lower than 6th or 7th? I don't think he should. I'm not buying the 2nd. I'm not like that with him. But why there's no way Jimmy Graham should fall out of the top 6 or 7 tight ends.
Yeah, I think it's like because my initial knee-jerk reaction was, okay, he's on Green Bay. He's going to get overhyped, unbelievably overhyped. Maybe it's a knee-jerk reaction from that being, because you think he's overhyped, then they overdo it and they say, oh, he's not even going to be a starter, which is ludicrous. Mm-hmm. So, he absolutely has to. You look at his production in the past. Pretty much done everything that people say, even coming back from injury. And you look at his positional rank. He was obviously dominant when he was with New Orleans, right? 2nd overall, 1st, 4th, 3rd. Then he had the, injury 16th. But he was 4th last year, 4th the year before that. He is a top 5 guy as long as he stays healthy. And now you have a few new faces, a few young guys like Evan Ingram, which I like. And, but Hunter Henry went down as well. So as soon as that happened, yeah, I think he has to be in the top 7.
I think so too. I don't see how he's not. It doesn't make sense to me. So
yeah,
I'm fine with him around that level.
It's so sad because at this point too, I'm almost starting to go back in my own words, and I'm thinking about putting him above Ingram, which
I already did.
Yeah, which I'm kind of coming around to that idea even. I think I'm getting over my own bias.
I'm liking him more as we get closer to the season.
I am too.
Reason. All right, another guy that is just completely all over the board. Brandon Cooks. He is as high as 7th, as low as 53rd.
What?
That's Jason Moore from the Fantasy Footballers. Did that.
What? It's always the footballers, but I think they're just messing with me constantly.
I'm wondering. They also have the 2nd lowest of him. Okay, 7th is a bit much, but okay, this is another player that I'm starting to sort of like. Okay, because of this, I'm trying to think about this. Why so low for Brandon Cooks? He always finishes up there. He's not. It's up and down a lot, but he always ends up with a pretty decent finish. So are people saying that Brandon Cooks can't be the clear number 1 in the Rams? He's not clearly the most talented wide receiver, because he is. He is 100%. Robert Woods is a 2, and Cooper Kupp's a okay average 3. Right? So. Brandon Cooks is clearly the most talented wide receiver there. It's not even close. I'm starting to really think this over again. Well, wait, why? People like Jared Goff a little bit. I don't love Jared Goff, but why can't Brandon Cooks have a really good season? I think he can. At least better than, he's not in the mid-20s, I don't think. I don't see why he's not. He's a back end, 15 to 20 range. I could see him in there.
I'm not to overblow it, but sadly enough, I could not easily, but I can see him slipping into the top 12.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that crazy. And yeah, he's probably not going to win you weeks, but even look at last year, the fact that he was 7th, and yes, he was on New England. I get it. You have Tom Brady, but the year before that, he was 8th. The year before that, he was 12th.
Right. And he's clearly the most talented wide receiver with the Rams. He is. He just is. Yes. It's going to be still a Todd Gurley offense. We know that. But you still got to throw the ball.
But look what Sammy Watkins could not put together a full game last year. He had moments where he did really well. But the fact that Robert Woods was relevant in that offense should tell you enough.
Yep.
Cooper Kupp, relevant.
Mm-hmm.
There is enough to go around. I think this guy is going far too late. I think he's a very safe. If you got him at number 2, I think that is an amazing get. I think he's a very safe number 2.
I think so. In some of these where he's getting ranked, he could be number 3.
Oh my God, that would be unbelievable. I would lose my mind.
This could be crazy. Okay, that's pretty much all the players I got. You got any more, Jeff, for us? Any more guys we should talk about? Anything else?
No, I just wondering about these young guys. I always feel like Mahomes is
I'm kind of avoiding all the young guys right now because
we don't know enough. I think the only other guy would be the older guys then. Where it'd be like a McCoy, or like Marshawn. I think like Lynch. LaShawn Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lynch is kind of another one, but I think he's at the back end. I think everyone kind of just assumes he's going away. But McCoy, where do you land on that? Because I'm keeping
him around 10-ish.
Okay.
He's as high as 7th, as low as 18th. And
a
lot of it is the team probably will suck.
Yeah, I'm much lower than most people, so I'm always wondering it. When would you actually, though? You have him 10th. Would you draft him there? Because you're giving up on, you're talking about McCaffrey.
That kind of means McCoy's your number one. Ugh.
Yeah,
I like that. I don't like it. But maybe we're all just wanting to get rid of him the year before the drop off happens. We just expect it to happen. But what if it doesn't?
You'll get a deal. I think that's
it's risky.
I don't think he'll be a number one. So I think if you're drafting him to be a number one, you're going to be, you're not going to get return on your investment, if you will. This
ends up being how risky do you want to get with McCoy?
Yeah.
And the nice thing is where he's ranked at now number 12 overall, he's getting to that range where he could be a number 2. In a 10-team league, he's a number 2. 12-team league, he's the very last number 1. But
yeah, I still don't. I think I would take him as a back end number. Maybe not back end, but he's going to fall in a spot that I'm never going to be able to take him. That's what it comes down to.
Probably. That's most like somebody will probably still like him enough or like the name enough to pick him. But he's kind of one I'm probably staying away from unless he's my number 2, which then I might be okay with it.
Yeah. I really trying to figure out what kind of production he really will have in that Buffalo offense, because you are giving up on guys you like. You're talking about Mixon, McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, even possibly McKinnon, which is yeah. So it has a lot to give up on.
But all right, that's gonna do it for polarizing players. Just some guys that maybe, as we talked it out, I started to get opinions on even more. Great, I like a lot of these guys. It's kind of funny how I'm starting to like more and more of them. But all right, well that'll be it for today's episode. We'll talk to you guys next time.